Good afternoon and welcome to Artists of Color, and I am your host, Elaine Hall-Corbin. It's good to have everybody with us today. I kind of have a special show. For the past couple of weeks, I've been doing a lot of work and I say a lot of work, I've been doing a lot of work within the community of Roxbury itself because there's been a lot going on. I've seen a play, I've gone to a couple of conferences, and recently, well, not really recently, but recently, I found out again about the Dimmock 5K road race. And I ran into a young lady who thought that maybe I should have these folks on my show. So today I have three people from Dimmock and the Boston Athletic Association in Hood Fit on Artists of Color today. And this is because we're going to talk about a race that's been going on 4 years, and I have heard about it, never ran it, but they're going to try and make me run this year. So we're going to do that. And my guests are, we're going to start with Susan Walmsley from the Boston Athletic Association, Hector Cruz, who is the director of the road race, and Thaddeus Miles from Hood Fit. And I get a kick out of that one because I said, Hood Fit? Now, we actually trying to fit the hood? Because the hood does need to be fixed. So but when I heard the name Thaddeus, it was a name that always would actually stick in my head because we have a jazz musician, and his name is Thaddeus. So that's kind of what made me remember your name so easily. So lady and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today on Artists of Color.
Thank you for having us.
And I am really excited to talk about the road race. I guess I want to begin with Hector. Hector, tell me how and why the road race got started.
Well, 4 years ago, I received a text message from Thaddeus Miles saying, you know, I want to put a road race together in Roxbury, something we've never had in years. I have no idea how to put it together. I have run some races locally, and together and through social media, we were able to reach out to over 120 participants. We ran through the streets of Roxbury with basically no permission, but
hey, you had permission. It's a community.
Ours, and we seem to have the people just seem to enjoy themselves. Great. It was something that most of them were never exposed to. We tried to give them the feel that it was an official race with bib numbers, and we gave them the finishing popsicle sticks, and also finishers medals.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's just trying to, and we tried to give them that experience, the full race experience, and it was just an opportunity, and I think it was just the kickoff to where we are today.
And I'm going to back up because I kind of made a slight mistake, I'll admit it. It's called the Health and Wellness 5K, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Now, because of the name Health and Wellness, why did you use that name? I have an idea, but I want you to tell me why that concept, why Health and Wellness.
I'm going to defer that to Thaddeus.
Okay, Thaddeus. Oh yeah, Hood Fit.
Mr. Hood Fit himself.
So Hood Fit is really about wellness. It's about agency. It's about resilience, determination, grit, good grit, vision, love. And so what we really want to focus on when we first started Hood Fit, I was dealing with some of my own stuff, some of my own challenges. And some people in my family were dealing with depression, and which I also find a lot in this community, being the director of public safety for mass housing for 20 years. And working with the community, I saw a lot of trauma that was happening. And having it be really part of my family, and my family, you know, being African American, we don't always want to go to counseling. So we don't always want to take medication. And so what is it that we can do? So I found initially it was about eating properly and being active, not being like me, just being a weightlifter, but actually being like Hector, doing more cardio and those types of things. So one of the first things I thought about is how do we actually address some of the trauma that we're dealing with and some of the mental issues that we're dealing with through activity. And I thought one of the first things that we could do in this community is do a run. And so it's not just about being fit. I still like to eat. I still have a little bit of extra weight that I have, but it's about being well. And so that's physically well, that's spiritually well, that's financially well, because if you don't have a home, it's really sort of hard to be fit.
That's
right?
true.
If you don't have,
and if you're not fit, you can't have a home.
Right. If you're not dealing with your finances in the proper way, if you're not spiritually grounded, and so it's all of those things together. So this run really approaches all of those in a lot of different aspects.
Okay. Hector, when was the first run?
The first run, the Hood
The
Fit
first
run
race?
was the first Saturday after Labor Day, which was 4 years ago, 2013.
How many runners did you have?
We had over 120 runners.
Okay. Where's the course? I want to ask, where is this course?
The new course.
Don't worry, I haven't forgotten you, Susan.
Well, in our second year, we partnered up with Dimmick Health Center and the BAA. We changed the venue to the Dimmick Health Center itself. So we started.
Where was it originally? Sorry.
It was at Franklin Park.
Oh, okay.
First race was started and ended at Franklin Park.
All right.
We moved it year two to the Dimmick Health Center campus. We ran down Washington Street towards Center and around Walnut Street and back Washington Street to the back to the campus. So we have a combination of either you have an option of running the 5K, or if we have participants that are not capable of running the 3+ miles, they can do the 2-mile walk. So we would let those walkers begin 10 minutes after the runners leave, and veer off course, and they catch up with the runners and come in and finish together as one. So you really can't tell the difference
who's
between
running
the runners
and who's walking. That's really nice. That is really nice. Susan?
Yes.
What made the BAAs want to partner with Dimmick and the road case? Why?
Right. Actually, the question to me was almost, why wouldn't we want to partner? It was really exciting. There was the year right after HoodFit had done their first run, and we received a call from the Dimmick Center, our president, Joanne Flaminio, saying that they wanted to start this 5K and wanted to have a race that would run through Roxbury, same concept that Thaddeus had already started. And as Maisha explained it to me, it sounded very exciting and a great opportunity for us to partner to do something a little different from what we usually do, because we're most known for the Boston Marathon. We have exactly, and we have some other races, and we find that people sometimes get intimidated by the name. It's when they hear BAA, they think it's a race just for professional runners or expert runners. And
actually, I always thought that.
Yeah, exactly. And the marathon does have a bit of that because of the qualifying standard. The other races are slightly different. So for us, it just seemed like a really exciting opportunity to come just a couple of T-stops down the street from where we are to be able to assist in putting on this race and bring our expertise to it. We have a few years experience putting road races together, although Thaddeus will tell you the first year we tried to help design a course. I think,
How did that work out?
How
did that work out?
They designed the hardest course in the world. I drove it and was tired, right? And so
I was going to say, did we go up the hill and down the hill? And no.
They were taking it all the way up Fort Hill.
Oh, no.
So I'm like,
no.
yeah. So, but they wanted a challenging race, which I thought was right, but we could make it a little bit less challenging as we build up. But it also didn't showcase parts of the community that I thought were really beautiful and actually simplify and important, like we run down Dale Street, so we run past Malcolm X's house.
There you go.
We run up Walnut, so we run past the museum. Right. So it's other major components in Roxbury that we want to make sure people
because
are able
it
to
gets
see.
folks to realize and see what the community is about. Okay, so
Exactly.
I understand that. I understand that. You said that only a couple of T stops from where is the BAA work located?
Our main office is right in Copley Square, across
Oh,
the street from
okay.
Bass Bay Station.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's just a couple of stops down.
Hector,
Yeah.
you're a runner, which I learned before we came on set. How long have you been running, and how many races have you run?
I started running 10 years ago.
Okay.
My longest run before that was from the couch to the refrigerator and back between football plays.
Okay.
I started slowly,
There you go.
running, trying to run 5Ks, and increased the distance. In the 10 years since, I've run 13 marathons and
Oh, yeah,
probably 20 plus half marathons and countless 5Ks. I enjoy it, and what I enjoy most is trying to recruit as many new runners as I can.
Yep.
And I've done that by training people and trying to teach them that, you know, just going out there and trying to just go out there and run 3 miles, you know, it's for the first time, just going out there, it's really, it's a challenge. So we try to get them to run for 20 or 30 seconds and then walk.
Oh,
And
okay.
then just trying to gradually get them into the running more and walking less.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, what is a 5K? How many miles is a 5K?
The 5K is 3.1
Oh,
miles.
it is 3 point. Okay. Oh, all right. I thought it was, because you talked about the 3 point, what is it, 3.1?
1.
I assumed, my assumption was that a 5K was 5 miles. They can't do that.
Yeah. A lot of people assume that.
Oh, see?
Yeah, you're not the only one.
Oh, I'm glad. When, Thaddeus, when did you, or how did you, first of all, Hood Fit?
Right. So,
Tell me, I gotta know about Hood Fit. If I missed something, I gotta know now.
so Hood Fit, again, it comes back to some of the challenges that we faced growing up. And
As
so
a
I'm not
community.
from Boston. I'm from Virginia, but from an all-black community
There you go.
that was under-resourced.
Okay.
Fortunately, for me, community back then meant
Meant-
a little bit something, a little bit of
It
something.
meant community.
Right, and so, you know, if I did anything wrong, I was getting a whipping 3 or 4 times, right? so, because all of my family lived there. But, you know, I still went through my struggles. I went through my challenges. You know, I grew up in a home with a little bit of, you know, domestic violence. And at the age of 13, my mom's boyfriend put a gun to my head and pulled the trigger. Fortunately, I was able to, didn't discharge. But from there, I became a different kid, right?
Okay.
A little bit hard. I've never been the guy that's robbing and stealing or selling drugs or using drugs. But I was that guy that was angry, that had a lot of different challenges. Fortunately, I had some people that believed in me, not people that was trying to save me, because everybody that tried to save me was no longer in my life. Everybody that believed in me and helped me
Those are
believe
the
in myself,
There you
those
go.
people are still in my life, right? So really, Hoodfit is about believing. But what I found is those struggles that I went through as a child and as an adult, and the struggles that people may go through today in these communities, made me valuable in the places that I work, made me valuable within my community, because I was able to tap into those and understand my resilience, understand my perseverance, understand good grit and what they really meant, understand vision and what I needed to do to move to the next level, but also be able to love myself and to forgive myself for some of those challenges. And so some other friends of ours that came through some of the same communities found that we don't really tap into that as much. You know, it's no different than Hector speaking Spanish. That's in some places that's really valuable. But in other communities and sometimes in the corporate world, having Roxbury zip code isn't a good thing, right? Having a Dorchester zip code isn't a good thing, and people perceive you as in a certain way.
That's exactly what they perceive.
But what I'm trying to change, and what HoodFit's about, is really about how do we change that stigma of a underserved community not having valuable people that bring a lot to whatever environment that they're going to. And I feel like my challenges have made me strong, have given me opportunities to really, if you listen and engage me in conversation and where you're going to the next level, those things bring value. And plus, success, I think, is looked at differently, and leadership is looked at differently. And so we're trying to make sure that we're covering all of those bases to get young people and to get those that are still have chosen not to address their issues to really look at the lessons that they've learned and the lessons that they're learning as valuable lessons through the struggle that make us grow stronger, and more importantly, make us valuable to what it is that we want to do. I believe that sort of like Malcolm or Benjamin Mays, the former president of Morehouse and civil rights activist, says, every person on this world is born to do something that's unique, and if we don't do it, it will never be done. So, but how do we give you those tools to be able to do those things? And so that's really what HoodFit's about.
I agree. I am actually excited about the race because now I know what is the criteria in order to run the race. Any of you can answer that for me. I probably want to get an idea from each person what their perspective of the criteria is.
So I'm gonna give you the HoodFit criteria.
Good. I was waiting for the HoodFit.
Is that when we ran the first race, or when we produced the first race, the oldest person was 86.
Wow.
The youngest person was 6.
86 and 6.
And she ran on she had a tricycle and she ran with her grandfather though, but she was having a good time. We have people that come in and with strollers, that babies are a month old. And so for me, if you can breathe and you can get there, then you're qualified.
Okay.
Right. So Hector and Susan might have a little bit different, but I think it's all the same.
Get an idea. What's your idea of qualification, Hector?
Mine, anyone that wants to have a good time, wants to meet new people, make new acquaintances. Could be their neighbors that they've never spoken to before. This is an opportunity for them to walk the streets or run Roxbury and get to know each other. And we've witnessed that in the past 3 years, that everyone at the end, as soon as they cross that finish line, it's like they've known each other for years, and they're all laughing and having a good time. And that's what we want to see again.
I hear.
Right.
Okay, yes, I want to get your idea.
Yeah. I would say, the same. It's, for people that want to challenge themselves, and there's no performance standard that you have to meet except what you want to accomplish for yourself. So for some people it might be running the whole distance, for some people it might be just finishing the whole distance, but I agree it's part of coming together and doing it together, and it's a real celebration and a lot of fun. So you do not have to be a professional runner, far from it. It's a great starting point for people who want that support to get started and maybe haven't had it before.
When the race is over, we're going to talk about what you guys do after the race, but when the race is over, is there a connection to DIMIC and the fact that as far as the health and wellness part, is there a connection that happens between those that have run the race and DIMIC as a community health center?
Yeah, so two things that we haven't really talked about a lot. One is, at the same time that there's an adult race, there's also a kids race.
Oh.
And there's a kids section, and the kids race this year is being directed by Reimagine Play, which is an entity to really get people in the community to engage in play and get kids out of just playing with their video games and texting. Right? So getting back into the community, like when we grew up, it was like get out of the house and do something.
That's right.
Go
around the corner.
Right, and so then Tufts has Tufts Navigator actually has a pavilion, a wellness pavilion, a health pavilion that's actually in the court of 55 DIMIC with several vendors, and we actually have a stage with entertainment. The first year that we partnered with BAA in the Demic, we had Michael Bivens and his group actually came out, and he actually ran. We have some great pictures of him running. His artists didn't know that they were going to run, but they actually ran.
Didn't know, but they was running.
And they did amazing. And so it's entertainment. We have some people doing some Zumba, some yoga to warm us up. We have massages, but a lot of health information that we would really encourage people, whether they are participating or not, to come out and actually talk to and maybe get some health screening while they're there. Hector might know, and Susan might know.
Will there be any health screening, and what type? What type of health screening? Will there be any?
I think there will be some health screenings. I don't have the exact details.
Okay.
The opportunity here is for the participants to be exposed to different types, not just running, but different types of activities, just as Thaddeus said, with the yoga, and different avenues for them to explore.
Okay.
Give them an opportunity to, again, participate in the health screenings, but also a little bit of exercise as well.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, I'm really excited because now I know more than I knew before. And it's very funny because for a couple of years, I saw this race going on, and I used to say, where these people come from? Where they coming from? Where they going to? There's actually a race going through Roxbury? Yeah. So, I never knew. So I knew of the race that you guys have been doing, but I didn't know, you see these people, and all of a sudden you see them, and they're saying, where they come from? So, now I have a connection to that, knowing that Dimick and other partners have partnered. Are you, besides the other three of you, the only ones that have partnered? And I know you're Dimick, but I mean, as far as the BAA and HoodFit, are there other partners that have been part of this race?
Yes, there's a multitude of partners. So you have Tufts.
Okay.
You have John Hancock, that's also one of our partners. It's a long list.
Okay,
if I could pull up the T-shirt, you'll see all the sponsors and the individuals on the back.
We won't pull out the T-shirt.
Right.
Okay. How have you managed to get all the participants? Like, what is your media blitz? Besides me. Yes, see?
So we rely on social media.
Okay.
We've had billboards advertising the race.
Yep. I saw one or two of those.
Email blast, word of mouth has worked, and we know because the participation from year one from 120 plus, year two we had over 500.
Oh.
Last year was over 800, and this year we're hoping for 1,000 plus. And with our partners, our sponsors as well. They help get the word out, and I think with their help, with your help, we're definitely going to surpass our goals this year.
Oh, that would be absolutely wonderful. Now you talk about social media, the word of mouth. Do you find, are there a lot of community people? I mean, we don't know everybody, so we know that. But do you find that there are a lot of folks from the community that run the race? Or do you find more people from surrounding areas coming to run the race?
Well, I would say two things. Some of the surrounding people that come to run the race are from the community. So not necessarily do they continue to live here, but they're from here, their families
still here.
But the good thing is this race is, if you live in this community, you get to run for free. So we don't charge you to run your own community. That's something that HoodFit philosophy and we as a group really believe in. So we have a multitude of people from this community that actually participate. We have, me and both Hector are both working housing. We've been in this community for over 20 years, so we know the people. And they actually show up, show out, and
I know they do.
and,
Show up and show out. Yes,
and
they do.
enjoy themselves, right? And by showing out, I mean they're running,
Yep.
they're walking. We've had
There you
people that have walked with the walkers that are fighting up that Demick Hill, right at the end.
That's me, fighting up that Demick Hill.
Right. So it's just a big difference. And the community is definitely, you can feel their presence.
Oh, that is wonderful. That is really wonderful. We've talked about the course, and we've talked about participation. We've talked about media. What is the day? Okay, what is the day like? I know it's the race. What is the timing of the race? I mean, I know how it runs and where it goes and all of that. But what is a timing of the race itself? How long does the race usually take? Give or take a minute and a half.
So registration opens at 7 a.m. on September 9th.
Oh, okay.
So we do have online registration, so you can register now if you log on to the Dimick Center.
Watch him. I know what he's doing.
And it's free.
Okay.
Or if you haven't had an opportunity to do so, you can show up on the day of the race between 7 and 8:45 and register for the race.
Oh, okay.
The race begins at 9 a.m. The runners that are going to participate in the 5K will start the event.
Okay.
And 10 minutes later, we let the walkers go
Begin.
and participate in their event, which is, again, approximately 2 miles.
That's right.
So, they will meet up with the runners.
I like that part.
And again, they can finish together. And if you just run up that hill on Dimick, even if you were a walker, no one would be able to know the difference whether you ran.
Because everybody's coming together.
Yes.
I like that. Now, you have the day is besides the race and other health things that are going on. I'm going to ask this. You have young people starting from 86 to 6. What do you have going on for young people? When I say young people, I'm talking young people between the ages of, the age 13 to 18, 13 to 19. What specifically do you have during the day for them? In other words, does the day starts at 7 a.m. for registration, and how long does what is the ending of the day?
The ending of the day approximately starts wrapping up around noon.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a.
So it's not an all-day.
No, it's not an all-day event.
It's
just. We want to give an opportunity for all of the participants to complete the race, which
Right.
is typically about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes for some.
Okay.
And then hold an award ceremony, a recognition ceremony at the end.
Okay.
In between, we might have some guest speakers or performers on the stage, just engaging with the participants.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just trying to get an idea how everybody fits into the race and what the day is like. We are actually going to take a break, and when we come back, we will continue our discussion. So don't go away. We'll be here for a minute. We'll be right back. There you go.
The second picture.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Artists of Color. I'm Elaine Hall-Corbin, your host. And with me this afternoon is Susan Wamsley, Hector Cruz, and Thaddeus Miles from the Dimmick Health and Wellness 5K race. Gentlemen and lady, thank you for being with me this afternoon. The conversation has actually been quite exhilarating, if I do say so myself, you know. But when we went to break, I was telling Thaddeus, and I want to get everybody's opinion, what the health, spiritual, and physical, you know, how does that encompass in running a race like this? And the mental, because it all comes together. So I'm going to start with Thaddeus.
So part of, when I look at it, part of it is the preparation for the run.
Okay.
And working with Hector over the years to just be able to run and learn to breathe. And so when I run, and what we did the first run is, so the first 500 yards of the run for me is figuring out how to release the stuff that I'm dealing with. Whatever I'm thinking about is to release that. And so after that 500 yards, I concentrate on my breath and my heartbeat. So it's just an amazing opportunity, because I used to run with music, and I saw Hector running a marathon, and I snapped a picture of it, and I'm like, how come you don't have on headphones? He's like, I just run to my own beat, right? And so I realized listening to my breath, listening to my heartbeat was sort of like meditation for me. And so running for me is that meditation, it's that peace of mind. It allows me to have those moments in my life that I can actually release. Whereas it's the same as how you're doing yoga, right? And the positioning and the postures, and it allows you to release certain components of your body and certain thoughts. Running for me is the same way. And when I'm running, I'm cracking concrete, right? And I get it, right?
Yep.
I'm not running fast, right? I'm not boom, boom. And Hector says my feet are too heavy. So I'm working on that. But it's really a thing of actually getting your heartbeat to move, being able to concentrate and to actually allow the things that are around you that are bothering you to be able to have moments in your life that you can release them. And that's through running or walking. The other thing I really do believe in is the proximity, the gift of proximity, of being around others that have some of the same spiritual and love and joy that you have, and being in that environment. And so as we get depressed and as we maybe sometimes get older, we do this thing called social isolation, right? We like to stay home, watch TV, and not really engage with other people. Yeah, how do we find?
I can't stay home.
Right. So how do we find the time to do those things? So when I'm in that space and when we're running this race, it's just such a beautiful day just to start with, and the joy that you see on people's faces when people are running and others are helping them get up the hill or to take that next step, or that you can do it, to come and run with me. We had one young lady that was actually had just finished her, she had an operation for breast cancer. This was on our first race, right? She had an operation of breast cancer, and she was going to be starting chemo in 2 days. She came out to the race on her own, and she was like, well, I just want to be able to finish it. And she wanted to finish it within an hour. None of us knew this, and I saw it after the race posted on Facebook. And she ran it in 40 minutes. And,
how beautiful.
And what she said was that she came there by herself, but she felt like she left there with 100 new friends, and that she was prepared to go in that chemo that Tuesday, and that she felt like she was a beast and that she was ready, right?
More exhilarated.
So that to me is the joy and the spirituality of preparing for and being in a race where everybody has a like mind. It's not a competitive race. It's about being together, embracing each other, embracing the community, and that gift of proximity is a powerful thing on our overall psyche and just our heart.
Okay. Tell me your thoughts, Hector.
Oh, what I enjoy is, you know, having an event like this. You have your experienced runners, and you know that they've run multiple 5Ks. But what I like is to see the first timers, the ones that in the beginning you hear them, well, I don't know if I can do this. I've never ran a 5K before. And you know, a couple of words of encouragement, even just as I'm passing by, is just one step at a time. Take it easy, have fun, and then you see them at the start line when we let them go. Just watching them, the smile as they're approaching the finish line, knowing that they accomplished something, and in their minds, when you know when they started, they said, "This is something I can't do," and then all of a sudden, it's something that they've accomplished. And with the finisher's medal, it's something that they can take home and remember the event itself, and then hopefully they take that and carry on and maybe participate in another event, or maybe take on yoga or any of the other activities that we present. The goal is to open the doors and the minds for everyone that participates, and hopefully if we can get them engaged in saying that, you don't have to be the fastest, but just going out there and just taking it one step at a time and just pounding the pavement, you'll see the rewards.
I think that's beautiful. I really do. Do you find folks from the community that are not running out there watching you guys?
Yeah, I think it's
Is it really a community event?
Yeah, that was the first thing when we first did the first race, and when I first met Susan, we were talking about it because we did a little video clip of it, and it was so many people coming out, sort of like you talked about when you first said, like, who are these people out here?
Yeah,
it was people coming out on their porch, cheering us on. It was people coming out of the bodegas. There was people in the beauty salons, in the barber shop, coming out, looking, just saying, go, 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 right? And I'm sweating and leaned over and barely moving, but their encouragement, and you find that now it's more and more people from the community that's coming out and either participating by actually doing the event or attending the health fair, or actually just coming out on their porch or coming out to the corner and encouraging us to continue to run. And a lot are volunteering, whether that's handing out water, pointing to the right direction, passing out food at the end, or handing out the medals.
That's great. That's great. Susan, what are your thoughts spiritually? What are your thoughts spiritually and and physically and community-wise around the race?
Well, I'd say first of all, the thing, and I think Thaddeus had talked about this before, is like you really have to experience this race because I've been to a lot of races. I've been running in some way or shape or form for 30 years, and this race is special. It's unique and it's special. There is that sense of each person, even though they're working on their own individual goals, there's that sense of everybody knows that, and so you are encouraging the other people to come out and participate and be a part of it. There's so much joy in the day, as Hector mentioned, and it's just, and it's beautiful. The course itself, just as you're running over the course, there's a lot of beautiful spaces that you just get to see and reflect on, and it's just, it's a beautiful day to come out and, like I said, you can do have your own individual goals within the greater group. And it just all comes together so beautifully at the end, and it really is. It's probably my favorite race to come and be a part of, and it's been such a gift to be able to be a part of that and to experience that. We put together a lot of races, and I feel like ours are very special too in their own way. But to really come out and get to know people. We've been doing the training sessions, and I try to make it to as many of the training sessions as I can. And it's a great group. Everybody's out there Saturday morning making it happen. And then we see each other on race day, and everybody's really excited, pumped up, ready to go. It's what we've been working for all summer. So it really is a unique and special race, and something that everybody can benefit from.
Okay. Hector, what is training? How does one train for a race? Because I figured you've got the gentleman here who's run a few races, okay, and I figure I'm gonna get it from the pro.
Well, if you're trying to go out there for the first time,
yes,
it's just take it easy. Don't go out there and just try to run as fast as you can.
Not me.
And then you just get winded, you get tired, and you just say, forget about it. This is why I don't run. You have to have a plan. And it is just going, whether it's 10 seconds or 20 or 30 seconds of running, and then break it up with a little bit of walk. And then just trying to get the lung capacity and your rhythm, and believe it or not, trying to figure out how to run and breathe at the same time.
That was going to be my next question. How does one run and breathe at the same time?
So that takes a little practice.
I'm sure it does.
But it will come.
Oh,
and,
okay.
and just as you do, if you do this on a regular basis, you'll find that you'll start a little bit of running, a lot of walking, but as the weeks go by, you're going to do a little more running and a lot less walking.
Okay.
So it's just building up the capacity and going slow. Just maintain your effort. It's what I say. Even up a hill. So if you go up a hill, don't try to power through it and run as hard as you can, but just attack it as if you're going on a level plane. So you don't want to increase, waste the energy, and then you're up there, and then you're just all exhausted, and then you walk down the hill, which is typically the easier part of it.
Yes, it is.
The course.
I don't mind walking down, but I hate walking up. Told you, we're going to move that building. I tell them every week, Dimmick will be moving to the corner shortly. I guess what do you want to tell folks out here about the race? What do you all want to tell people about the race that's going to happen in September? What do you want them to know?
So, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I would encourage them to come out and embrace the community, to come out and meet the community people, and to meet others from outside of the community, but they have the same spirit of the community. There's a lot of misperceptions about Roxbury. It is a beautiful community with some beautiful people. But one of the challenges in Roxbury is the life expectancy in Roxbury is 58.
Yes, it is.
Right? When you compare it to the Back Bay, the life expectancy is 91. So there's some challenges here that people are dealing with that are a little bit different than some of the other communities.
That's true.
But that doesn't make this any less of a deserving community to have this race. That come out and support Dimmick, because Dimmick has been an amazing organization for many years.
Over 100.
The first in many situations. We're fighting every day the opioid epidemic. They're fighting every day to service those with mental health issues. They're fighting every day to deal with some of the homeless issues and some of the other issues that we don't necessarily expect to be in a medical facility.
That's true.
They have a dynamic leader of color. That's just an amazing woman with an amazing family that has amazing ideas and amazing vision, and that understands and gets the community. To partner with BAA, which they come out and support them, that people didn't understand that they are a part of this community and that they want to be part of this community, and their overall commitment that they've made to this community over many years that people just don't know about. And that Susan and Tom and the others come out and meet them on that day and show some appreciation for what's taking place. And come out and support just the Hood Fit movement. We're not an organization trying to raise money, but it's just a movement. And if you've been challenged in your life, and that doesn't make a difference what community you grew up in, to come out and support it, come out and be part of that, and take part in that gift of proximity and being part of this joy that this community brings and that this race brings on this special day, September the 9th.
Okay. I have one, before I ask Hector, I have one thing, Hood Fit, and I know it's an organization.
Right.
Are you a community organization, or are you a national organization?
So we're a movement. Right now, we've got several cities and different states that want us that we participate in different things. And what we're really trying to do is find a little niche where we can participate in things that aren't happening in communities, but also how do we amplify what people are already doing in the community. Like you have the Hike for Life, which is a great organization. We try to amplify what they're doing. You've got Just Checking In with some mental health things. And so it's
I saw their office.
right.
Yeah,
So
he does like-
so some other things that are taking place in the city. So we try to make sure that we amplify what they're doing, so that people actually understand that things are taking place and that there are resources in the city. So we're not trying to replicate anything. We're not trying to move anything away. We're not fighting for grants or grant money. We're really about how do we give the community what it is that they need, and how do we help people in the community understand that they have agency, and help them grow agency and the belief in their own selves and their own self-determination. And the better you can do for yourself, the better you can do for the community. But we're much broader than just Boston.
Okay.
We
That's
just
what I
don't
was-
broadcast a lot of it.
Oh, well, now we know.
Yeah. Because of you, they do.
Yes, yes. Hector, how long have you, my first question to you is, how long have you been at Dimmick? I've got to ask this question. I meant to.
So I've been a partner with Dimmick
Okay.
for 3
partner.
years.
Okay.
I actually work for Wind Management,
Right.
a local real estate management company. So I've been in the community for over 25 years, and working with that is just about, I think, just the same amount
Just
of
about
period.
that time?
Yeah.
And when the opportunity was presented for me, and I was honored to accept the role as race director,
Oh, yes.
it was just a way for me to give back to the community.
Okay.
To show everyone, at least, or give them an opportunity to run a race and basically just pass on what I have learned through my years of running. So,
Okay. Susan, the BAA. And every time I say that, I think of something totally different. But I have to What made the BAA want to partner with a inner city community like Roxbury in order to put this race on?
Right. I think the whole concept, the whole idea for the race that Thaddeus had and then Dimmick joined in with is to promote health and wellness. And that's our mission, is to promote fitness through sport. And fitness can be defined a lot of different ways. It's not just physical fitness, it's mental, behavioral health, it's just everything. And so for us, it fit in beautifully with our mission. It was an opportunity to come and really experience the vibrant running community that's here. And I thank Thaddeus and Hector and the Dimmick for inviting us in, because we've met so many people that have been running for years, others that are just getting started. Individuals like Hector, who is a dynamo race director. We're actually trying to steal him away for some of the things for the Boston Marathon. And
Sorry.
Exactly.
Now that I've met him.
Exactly. And we have individuals like Gail Henville, who gives so much of her time to help train new and beginning runners. And the Black Girls Run, they come out and really
Yes.
encourage people, and they're tremendous. And so to be able to meet these individuals and really share the passion that we have for running and for what it can bring to an individual, to a community. Like I said, for us, it wasn't a question of why should we, it was how can we not? And thank you so much for inviting us. It's really a privilege for us to be able to partner and engage in the health and wellness efforts of the community here. So
That's wonderful. I'm glad. I'm glad that all of you have come here, the three of you have come here, and we've talked about about the race. And what would you like to tell my audience about the race, Susan?
I would just say it is running at its best. When it's a celebration, it's a sense of accomplishment. Thaddeus has made the point, you don't need permission to go out there and run and set those goals for yourself. If he hadn't encouraged that, this race wouldn't even be here. And so really, it is all the good things that we as runners have known. I've been running for a long time, and there are things intuitively, but this race really defines what that is. And so it's an opportunity to come out and experience the best of what the sport has to offer.
Hector, you're a community person. What do you want to tell the community about September 9th? What do you want to tell the community? You want to tell them to come out and run?
I want them to come out, run. I want them
Like he told me.
I want them to come out and see Dimmick, meet Thaddeus, Hoodfit, the BAA, our wonderful partners, the volunteers. We have about 100 people that just come out on a Saturday and work the registration desk, the start and finish line, water stops, and
Oh,
course
great.
monitors as well. So no one has to worry about, oh, I'm going to get lost, I might take the wrong turn. Those excuses are off the books.
In other words, you can't do it.
This is an opportunity and that you shouldn't miss. We want you out there and have a good time.
Oh, great, great. I've been excited all afternoon for almost an hour now, and I'm still working on the running part, doing the race. I may be walking, but I'll be up there. I might not be there when y'all start at 9, but I'll be there shortly thereafter, because now that I know about the race, and now that I know what it encumbers, and what you're trying to do as far as the community, and the health, and the wellness, and being able to have folks out there to be healthy, spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally. That was one thing, I almost forgot about that, is those that are not part, you said that folks that are part of the community, there was no charge. Is there a charge for folks that run that are outside of the community?
So there's a $25 registration fee. If you can't afford it, then you can put in the code HOODFIT and we will actually waive the fee. We want anybody that wants to run to be able to run.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Thaddeus, Hector, Susan, for coming this afternoon so we can talk about the Health and Wellness 5K race that DMIC is putting on. And I'm very glad that you all were able to come out this afternoon and be with me and be my guest. Yes, I'll be there.
Yeah, you will be there. Thank you.
I will be there.
Look forward to having you.
And that's it.